right, so it's Tuesday, March 11th, about almost 5:30 p.m. This seems. I wonder if my clock's off on my truck. It's probably 6:30 actually. Yeah, it's 6:30. I never changed the clock in my truck, but I'm on my way to Middlebury to pick up a camper. I was planning on doing this tomorrow in the morning, my normal setup where I leave in the morning and deliver and home by 5, 6 o'clock at night, whatever it is. But my daughter is not feeling well, so it's a little bit backed up here. She's not feeling well, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to run during the day tomorrow. So one of two things is gonna happen. I'm either gonna, if she's doing well, then I'll have my mom come babysit her, and I'll just deliver tomorrow, be home at an earlier time. If she's not feeling well, which I kind of have a feeling she's not going to be feeling well because she's pretty snotty and coughing and fever and stuff, then I'll probably just stay home and deliver it in the evening. So I just made the decision to go tonight just in case I can't go during the day tomorrow. It would just put me really far behind for the week, because then tomorrow's Wednesday, and if I can't work tomorrow during the day, then it would be midweek and I haven't touched a camper yet, which would be, it's fine. It's not the end of the world, but as far as making money this week, it wouldn't be great. So I'm picking up a small, I think a little single axle Coachman. So I'm just gonna back it into my driveway for tonight and decide what to do in the morning. But worst case scenario, I'm delivering it tomorrow night, and then hopefully by Thursday she's feeling good enough I can have my mother-in-law come, and I've got my first fifth wheel that I'll be pulling on Thursday. That is going, so this one's going to Madison, I think that one's going to Sheboygan. And I gotta look that one up still, but I don't think it's a big one. I did get my fifth wheel hitch installed. It just needs to be adjusted where it locks into the puck system. And luckily, my dispatcher, I was on the phone with him. He actually is the guy that owns the company, but also does the dispatching, runs all the office. I'm leased onto a smaller company. I think we have like 10 drivers. So, I was mentioning to him that I have the fifth wheel, but I can't figure out how to get it locked in place in the Ford factory puck system. I sent him some pictures, and he said, he has one similar. It's not the same, but he kind of mentioned that it needs to be adjusted in a certain spot, and that might work. So I did that, and it did work. So I'm very thankful for that. I got it locked in. I have to tighten a few little things up, so I'll probably do that tomorrow, either during the day or right when I get to the pickup. But it looks like it's all ready to go. I could have picked that one up tonight, but it's going to be dark, and hooking up the first fifth wheel, I would like to do it in the daytime, just so I can really check things out, make sure it's good. So I'm grabbing this one, and then I may be taking my first ever overnight load, and that would be going down in Missouri by Lake of the Ozarks. We've got a unit that I think it's just a small travel trailer that needs to get out there. So I think if I do that, I was talking to my wife, and I think she would come with me. We just do a single night somewhere, stay in a hotel out there. In that way, we can make a little trip out of it. It's not super far, but it's 8 hours from Indiana where you pick up, or 7 hours from my house. So probably what I would do is go early Friday morning, pick it up, come home, grab my wife, and then go out there. It would add like 1 extra hour probably to my trip, but you know, then she can come with me. We can get a hotel or something, just make like a little night out of it. I think there's some pretty cool stuff. It's not the best season time of the year to go, but it is supposed to be pretty nice this weekend. I think like there it would be like possibly mid 70s. So we would probably head out like early Friday morning. But I do have to watch the weather for Friday because they are calling for severe weather. I think like large hail, possible tornadoes. They're calling for that on Friday, I think, moving in the afternoon. So we would probably try to leave like early, beat all that, get down there. The weather's not supposed to be great there either, I think, in the evening, but hopefully we'll still have some stuff to do. Some stuff to see would be ideal. And then, yeah, so that's kind of the plan tentatively. I'm trying to find if I, like, my only holdup right now is if I can get someone to let my dogs out and stuff like that. So, if that's the case, if I can get someone to take care of my dogs, then I'm going to do that. Otherwise, I won't be able to probably because it's too late to kind of set up a different sitter. So normally the neighbor kid watches the dogs. I just don't know if he's going to be home this weekend or if he's got any plans or whatever. So as soon as I hear back from him, I'll get back to my dispatcher. I told him as soon as I knew something I would. I would like to do that run just to. I don't think I've ever been to Lake of the Ozarks, and if it was, it would have been like when I was a kid. So I don't know. It'd be cool to see, especially maybe it's something that I want to take my camper there one time, maybe. But yeah, we'll kind of see how it goes. You know, I won't necessarily be heartbroken if I can't go there because I can just go somewhere else on Friday, do my normal, and then maybe take one Saturday or Sunday and actually make more money than if I did the Lake of the Ozarks. But I like to help out when I can, and it wouldn't be a bad idea just to be able to do this load. But yeah, so interesting week. Definitely will be interesting with my first fifth wheel. Looking forward to that. And then also just having possibly my first trip out to Missouri and my farthest trip. So overall, if I do it that way, I'd probably only end up doing 3 loads this week. But it would still be gross over 2,000 because of how far the Missouri one is for me. So because I think that one pays like $1,100, and then this one pays $560, and the one Thursday pays $570. So I would be like, I think that's $2,230 on 3 loads, so not bad, but it technically would be 4 days, 3 loads. Probably like 35 hours. You know, obviously, if I end up doing that, I'll calculate everything a little bit closer. Because I would also just be interested to see, you know, how basically how many hours it takes, how much I'm making, and you know, is it worth it to do that trip? Maybe, you know, when I look at it on paper, it doesn't seem like it pays as well because of the overnight stay and stuff like that. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be a quicker load than I think, and I can kind of do the hourly calculation. I still think it would be over $50 an hour, but you know, some of these loads I'm around $65, $75 an hour, which obviously is much nicer. So, but like I said, it'd be interesting to do it. I'm kind of excited, but at the same time, I won't be heartbroken because you know I could just do 2 loads instead of that one and make probably a little bit more money without having the expense of a hotel and stuff like that, which I can write off. But I believe if I do that overnight stay, I'll be able to write off the hotel and I think 3 meals, as well as I believe you get like can't remember what the wording for it is, but it's like $70 per day. Or that probably takes into the meals actually. Either way, I would talk that over my tax guy. We talked about it slightly when I did the Wisconsin Dells one, since I stayed out there. after I dropped, and he mentioned I should be able to write that off in some meals and stuff. So be interesting to see how this all plays out with taxes and stuff like that. But also, if this is a nice run, then maybe it's something I would do more often, to take a weekend trip and have the trip basically get paid for by delivering a camper, but go somewhere like the Ozarks, on an often basis. So that's interesting as well. But yeah, that's basically all I have right now. I'm not sure that I'm gonna film when I get there, because it's gonna be dark, so we'll see. And some of those lots are really dark, so it's been a while since I picked up at Coachman or anywhere at night. I haven't done this nighttime bring home deal in quite a while. So ever since my neighbors were complaining about having a camper out in the street at my house, I haven't done it. It's been all daytime runs, but like I said, this one's small enough. I'll be able to back it in to my driveway. I don't really care either way. Like I'll leave a camper out there. It's my right, but my wife feels a little bit differently. She wants to keep the neighbors happy, so like I said, I'll get this one in the driveway, but I'm sure there'll be a time when I have to leave one in the road. And my camper, my travel trailer that I have at 37 feet, I can get it in my driveway, but I'm probably not. I mean, I've done it, but most of the time when I'm going on a trip and I bring it home on like a Thursday night, it stays in the road, and I don't plan on changing that. So hopefully they're not too upset with me, because I think technically they have security there 24/7, but the pickup hours I think end at 9 p.m. I'm probably going to be getting there at like 8:40, trying to make up some time without driving too fast, which has been successful. I think when I first left my house, it said like 8:45 I'd get there, and then it got up to like 8:51. Because I hit a ton of traffic just trying to get out of like Chicago area. I left at a really bad time for that, but I didn't have a choice. But then I got it back down to like 8:40. So my goal was 8:40, and now I'm pretty much there. So I'm trying to maybe do like, if I can get there at like 8:35, I probably can get hooked up and out of there right around 9 o'clock. So hopefully they're not upset. Like I said, they have security 24/7, so I think at most it would be like they have to open the gate back up for me to leave. So hopefully they're not mad that I'm getting there kind of late, but it's fine. So then one other issue I had, Sunday I did the run. I forgot to end my logs when I got home, so my logbook had been running on my laptop or my iPad for the last 2 days. So now I got to go back and edit it, and I don't know if it's just me, or maybe I'm just confused with it, or maybe it's because I'm using a tablet, but it's really hard to edit and get it right when you do a violation like that. I wasn't technically in violation, it's just I forgot to log off, so it ran thinking I was still running. So I have to go back. It's you can edit it, but it's not the easiest. So I'm trying to go back and edit it right now. Well, not now, but before I left, I was trying to, and it's not hard to edit when you catch it on the same day. Like if I would have caught it Sunday evening, it's easy just to click and say when you stopped, and it tracks your location, so it's not like you're lying. Like it can see that you stopped at your, this town or address or whatever. So it's pretty straightforward. But when it runs into the next day, that's where I have trouble, because now you're trying to edit a drive from 2 days ago, and like I said, it could just be me. I'm not the best when it comes to computers, so hopefully I can get that figured out, get it all tracked correctly, get it back on schedule, because that would be my luck, to get pulled over and have a log that's all jacked up. But yeah, we'll get it figured out. So yeah, we're possibly this video will just pick up the next day when I'm doing delivery. We'll kind of, as of right now, I don't know when I'm delivering, but I'm picking it up. It's either getting delivered tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening. We'll see what happens. up. So I picked up the travel trailer last night, and I kept it at my house in my driveway today. I had ended up taking my daughter to the doctor today because she was real sick, and so that was this morning. So I wasn't able to leave out this morning, and don't know exactly what it is. Some kind of virus. They tested, but we probably won't know until tomorrow. So it could be COVID. Could be I'm trying to remember what the other one is. RSV. So just trying to see what it is. So with that being said, I did tell my dispatcher I'm not going to be able to do that long Missouri run this week, just because my wife was going to go with me. We're not going to do that, obviously, if my daughter's feeling sick, and I don't want to do it on my own in case if it is RSV and she gets like worse than typically, because she's like a year and a half old. There's potential where you have to take her to the emergency room or something. So I don't want to be that far away. So I'm obviously doing this run up to Madison. It's like 2 hours, 9 minutes from my house is what it said. At this time of the day, probably like 2 hours once I drop it. So I'll be gone for about 4.5 hours, and that should be fine. And then tomorrow I'm going to pick up my first fifth wheel. That one's going up to Sheboygan. And I should be able to do all that in like 10 hours or less. So, and with these Wisconsin runs, whether it's Madison, Sheboygan, Green Bay, I always pretty much pass right by my house. So like, even if I go pick up a unit tomorrow morning and my wife calls me and says, hey, we got to take the baby to the doctor, I wouldn't be far behind, because the Indiana where we pick up most of these is about a 2-hour deadhead from my house. So, worst case scenario, I'd either turn around and head home, or if I was already picking up the camper, I'd be about 2 hours behind, wherever they would be going. So, and then same with like going up to Sheboygan tomorrow. It's like, I don't know, right around 2 hours from my house. So, my house is basically like the middle point. So it kind of gives me a lot of flexibility. Whereas if I go to like Missouri, it's 7 hours from my house, and that's just a long way to be away. Just in case it gets, she is doing better than she was yesterday. So I think it's going to be fine and everything. The doctors didn't seem concerned, but obviously they gave us things to look out for with her breathing and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's kind of my reasoning in not doing the Missouri run, which obviously my dispatcher was totally okay with that. Understands that I got family stuff to take care of. I'll still probably try to do, if we got something that I can pull on Friday going somewhere else, I'll do that, and then probably try to do something over the weekend, just to try to increase the overall gross profits, gross revenue, whatever you want to call it, for the week. Since this, it's Wednesday night now, Wednesday evening, and this is my first run of the week, so I'm pretty far behind on getting some runs done. It's not the end of the world. Even if I only run these 2 runs, it's fine. It'll be over $1,100 for the 2. For 2 days worth of work, I think that's fine. But I'm still gonna try to do more. The fifth wheel, I still haven't looked it up. I think it's a smaller fifth wheel that I'm picking up tomorrow. I'm gonna take my time with that, obviously, just making sure everything goes right. Probably get out of the parking lot a little bit, maybe a mile down the road. I'll pull over, check everything. So I expect tomorrow to take a little bit more time, just because I'm obviously just making sure that it goes correctly. But I've watched a ton of videos. It doesn't seem difficult. Everything I've read says the fifth wheels are going to pull better. Everybody's told me I'm going to love it. So that's pretty cool. But I do need to get airbags probably. We'll see how this one sits tomorrow. But if it's squatting my truck a lot, it is a 1-ton, but it does squat with some of these bumper pulls. So getting I was considering getting airbags anyways, or planning, I should say, to get airbags, because I've mentioned in other videos I'm either going to get a fifth wheel myself or keep my 37-foot travel trailer, but get a golf cart that I'm going to put in the bed of the truck, and I'm going to need airbags for that. So yeah, that's on the plan. I talked the company that I lease for, the owner also has a shop, and he can install the airbags as well. So I may just figure out eventually running up to where he's out of and just having him install the airbags with like a, I have an air compressor on board that's tied into my auxiliary switches, but it's set up just to pump up air. There's no airbags in the truck, so I don't know if we'll be able to tie into that air compressor. I hope. That would be nice, because I don't necessarily want to run a second air compressor. But if we have to, I think he said he usually puts them underneath the seat, the rear seat. And the one that I have is tucked up underneath the frame of the truck. His concern with that was, he said a lot of times in the Midwest where we're at, like, it gets pounded with salt and stuff and road debris, and they typically fail when they're up underneath the frame like that. So I know it's working now, but it is a good point that it could cause issues. So I'm a little bit of ways away before I want to do that anyways. There's a few things on the list for the truck that I want to get. Airbags was definitely one of them. I got the fifth wheel, that was on my list. I still have to get the stupid seat repaired. The front bumper, I got to figure that out. And then I want to get either swap out my CP4 for a DCR. I want to say that's like $2,500. Or at the very least get the CP4 disaster prevention kit, but I want to say that's about $1,200 installed. So I got to decide, do I want to do the prevention kit that doesn't necessarily stop the CP4 from failing, but it will keep it from taking out your whole fuel system. The DCR is definitely the better way to go. It's just, you want to drop the $2,500 or whatever it is to get it done. Might even be more than that. Might be like $3,000 with labor. So there's that. Got to figure that out. So airbags are somewhere on that list. Should be a pretty short run. I got probably about 100 miles left. It's pretty much all on the same road. Like, I jump on this highway 5 miles outside of my house, and it just 130 miles or something like that down this road. I did hit some traffic trying to get out of my town. There was a semi-truck that flipped getting on the on-ramp to the highway, so it was kind of a mess. Like, by the time I got there, the truck itself was gone, but they were doing like road cleanup. So they had the entire highway blocked, and you had to get on at like a different point, and it just added some time, which was unfortunate. But I should have probably just waited to leave a little bit. But because I did see, like, on the Facebook groups, people were posting that road was closed. But I thought that I had waited long enough, and I thought that my GPS would reroute, but it really didn't. So dealt with that. Like I said, took a little bit of time to get out of my town. But nothing terrible. On the road now. So this is a small unit. When I did the inspection yesterday, it was really, really dark. Like at Coachman, especially the lot that I was picking this up at, There was no lighting, so I literally just did the inspection with my flashlight. And I did notice this morning that there's like a tiny little ding in the front. It's almost not noticeable, but I'm going to mark it up on my BOL because I don't want to be charged for a little ding. I did write on the inspection sheet it was too dark to give it a good inspection. I took a picture of that, so should be covered on my end. I just seems like they're cracking down a bit on like these inspections and stuff, and it was a little bit of an issue, especially during the winter when we were getting the snow and stuff, because a lot of these campers we pick up were snow covered, and or muddy, so it was like you couldn't really inspect them that well. But now that it's not so muddy and snowy and stuff, you should be able to see them. It's just at nighttime there's not really good lighting, or any lighting really, at Coachman. At Jayco, I think their lot is lit up. You probably could do a decent inspection, but I'm just trying to make sure I cover myself, because it's going to come back on the drivers, and we're going to end up being the ones that pay for the damage, because the manufacturer doesn't want to pay, the dealership doesn't want to pay, the company that you're leased on to doesn't want to pay. So I know it's a sensitive topic in RV transport. They say a lot of people get frustrated with the fact that a lot of it goes on the drivers. So the best thing we can do is just take a lot of pictures, videos, document, and hope it doesn't come back on us, because even fixing like one little ding on the front of the trailer, they pretty much had to replace that whole apron, as far as I know, which your minimum you're in the thousands probably already at that point. So yeah, not a fun situation to be in, but it is what it is. So like I said, I'm just trying to take my pictures, make sure I document everything, so that I can kind of cover myself. This is obviously going to be a night drop, so I'll mark on the BOL, throw it in there, and hopefully nothing comes back on me with it. There's something else I was planning on mentioning, but I cannot remember. When I was picking up last night, the hours are supposed to be till like 9 p.m. And I didn't want them to be upset with me, because I was going to be there like right around 8:40. I didn't think I'd end up getting there at 8:35, but still, I felt bad getting there that late, but I hit a ton of traffic getting out of Chicago. So I actually didn't have my placards on my window, because what I usually do, I don't deadhead with them. I usually toss them on when I get, I'll pull over in the parking lot, throw them on, and then go through security. And Coachman is really the only place that really matters, because normally what I do is I throw them on once I'm hooking up the camper. I kind of do my whole routine of like put the battery on, hook the chains up, get my lock on the tongue jack, put my license plate on, all that good stuff, and then I'll throw the window placards on as well. But at Coachman, you go through a security checkpoint, so you're supposed to have them on. Well, I didn't have them on. I didn't do the whole pullover, because I was just trying to get in there, and I think they thought that like I wasn't a transporter, because at first the security guy was kind of looking out the window of the booth and like not opening the window, and then he opened it, and I told him what unit I needed, went through the process, and he asked if he could see my placards, so I showed him and my license plate, and I threw them in the front seat. I should have tossed them in my windows right then and there, because I've got the aluminum trucks, they're magnets, they don't stick to it. I got the window holders, so you got to roll the window down. It's kind of a process compared to throwing the magnets on the side of the truck, but so I just threw them in the front seat, didn't think anything of it, went and got my unit. Well, as I'm hooking up, another truck pulls up. It's security again, but a different guy. He gets out, and I'm like, all right, he knows that, like, he saw that I didn't have placards on, like, he's checking me out, making sure I'm not stealing something. So he asked me, like, is this the right unit? I told him, I was like, yeah, I got the right one, this is it. I was hooking up my battery and stuff, and he's like right on top of me. Didn't ask me about the placards or anything, so then I'm like, all right, well, I'll just see where this goes. So I just kind of kept doing my own thing, hooking up the battery, getting the license plate put on. He's following me around the whole time. you know, pretty much like right on top of me. And finally I grabbed my placards, and he's like, I was waiting to see if you were going to get placards out. He's like, I didn't know if you were stealing the unit or whatever. And I don't know why he didn't just ask in the first place, but it is my fault. Like, I should have had them on. I didn't want to stop, put them on, and end up getting to the gate like 15 minutes before they're supposed to close. But he did tell me, like, he's like, no, he's like, you can come any time of the day. He's like, 24 hours. He said that, you know, they don't advertise it, but, you know, you're supposed to be there by 9. He's like, but they're never going to turn you away. They're a 24-hour shipper. So, I know for next time I don't have to rush, because I was kind of cooking it, trying to get there and make sure I didn't have, you know, I was just trying to be polite to them. I didn't want to show up right at 9 o'clock. But now that I know that that's not an issue and I can really just show up at any time, I'm not going to take advantage of the situation, but I'll make sure I have my placards on. I'm not going to rush to get there. You know, if I get there after 9, you know, I can always stop, bring them a snack or, you know, some McDonald's or donuts or something, just to take care of them. But they were cool. After I did all that, I had gotten my unit, got out of there, so that was good. He did say that, like, the Middlebury police there are really cracking down on transporters that are not running their placards. So he's like, they're pretty much just giving you that $500 fine and calling a DOT officer. And so, you know, I've never ran. I take that back. I ran one load without placards when I first bought this truck. I didn't have the window magnet or the window holders, so and it's not magnetic. So that one run I did not have window placards in. But then the next run up to Elkhart, I stopped at Signs of the Times or whatever it is and bought 2 of them and taped them on to the aluminum so I can put them in the windows. So, but I always run my placards. Like I said, I don't run them on the way to pick up, but I always stop in the parking lot, throw them in, go through security, and they stay on until I deliver. It's just not worth it to get a fine, or, you know, especially like if you're in Middlebury and you're leaving, or Elkhart or whatever, I'm pretty sure that most of those police officers there are going to assume that you're an RV transporter. And like same, like where I'm running up to Wisconsin this time of year, none of the Wisconsin campgrounds are open. So if you run across a DOT officer, like, pretty sure he's going to know that you're a transporter. Whether or not they pull you over, you know, is another story, but I highly doubt that they're going to see me running a camper into northern Wisconsin in January and think that I'm going camping somewhere. Like, that's pretty much slim to none. So I always just run them, go through all the way stations. It just doesn't make sense to take your chances, in my opinion. Especially like the one coming into Wisconsin, that way station, a lot of times there is a cop sitting right at the exit of the way station to see if anybody's going to skip it. So, like I said, it's not worth it to skip a way station or not run your placards or whatever, and then have that fine. And I can pretty much guarantee you they're going to pull you over and they're going to hardcore inspect you at that point. So, that's about it for right now. I don't know that I'm going to do a video or not, because it's going to be dark when I get up there. I don't know what the lighting is in the parking lot there, doing the night drop. So this may be the end of the video. Like I said, unless something interesting comes up, I may film a little bit. But first run of the week, getting a late start. So far, so good though.